It's not folklore, it's fact that country footy brings local communities and its people together. Visit countryfootyscores.com.au. Delivered by Red Energy and TAC. Get your country footy fix and all the latest results at countryfootyscores.com.au.
Robot Building Supplies. Robots got it and deliver. robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
Drive with Bob Murphy and Andy Marr.
So no, just can't get through to BP at the moment for First Serve Tennis Sunscreen at sunblesssunscreens.com.au. He may be beside himself at the moment. He may be too excited to take our call, not because of what happened last night, as exciting as that was for Australian tennis fans. In fact, he's about to join us. But we know how he feels about this Canadian bombshell.
Why don't you say his name? You didn't say it yesterday.
Dennis.
No.
Shapovalov.
Shapovalov.
I don't think you've got it right
Dennis
either.
Shapovalov.
No, I don't think that's quite right.
That's exactly right.
Brett Phillips says it better than anybody. Hello, BP.
Yeah, Dennis Shapovalov.
Shapovalov.
Yeah,
You didn't get that right. You're a bit off.
I was a bit off.
So before we get to how excited you are tonight, because your man might be the last man that stands between the next leg of a potential Grand Slam for Novak. At 2-5 down last night in the second set, and with Angie Kerber really starting to play like Angie Kerber, she really turned the clock back. How good was Ash Barty from that point to the end of the match, BP?
So I think that's the part, Andy, that sets her apart. Her ability to just play the next point, her ability to play big points, clutch moments really, really well, and just go one point at a time, work her way back. You never count her out, and she can hold her nerve, and she's great as a front runner in setting the foundations of a match, but she's also terrific when she's facing a bit of adversity. And that's why you just feel confident to back in the Ash game. And, yeah, in the end, I mean, you know, she was putting more on the table than what Kerber could. Kerber's throwing the kitchen sink at her in the second quarter, and she's getting a lot of balls back. She's doing a lot of running, and, you know, she started to unleash a little bit too, because Angie has got, you know, some power, not just, I mean, she's traditionally a counter puncher, but she can unleash. But Ash, you know, when that first serve went in, just got to get that up over 60% though, Andy. Against Pliskova in the final, it would just make life a little easier. But somewhere around 65, 70, because when it goes in, it's not coming back with interest that often. It's either an ace, or she's kicking it up to the backhand or the forehand, or she's sliding it out wide. You know, tough to return when the return is outside the tram lines, and you've got to get that nailed. But the rest of it was, pretty good last night.
Oh, no, she was magnificent. So tonight, we've certainly got three non-traditional. I haven't seen enough of the Canadian kid. Is he could you call him not an old-fashioned grass quarter, because they don't exist. The serve volleys don't exist anymore. But is he more a grass quarter than the other three that have got through to the semi-finals?
Well, Dennis, he's comfortable just playing that all-court game, a bit like Tsitsipas. You know, his mum Tessa, who actually, interestingly, has not sat courtside to watch any of his matches. She's actually on the grounds. Normally, she's there front row. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe it's a good omen. Dennis said, stay away, Mum. But she said at a young age, Dennis, you're going to volley. You're going to get to the net and you're going to volley. And that's the sort of tennis we love aesthetically, because we've been spoilt with Federer doing that all his life. So he's got the big lefty serve. He's got the big wingspan. He can dominate from the back. Particularly that single hand across court, and then he's comfortable coming in. He plays a lot of doubles too at most of the tour events. So, yeah, he's got the game it's the all court game that is just beautiful. It's going to clearly take him a long way.
So who wins the two men's semis tonight, mate?
Righto, Berrettini, I think, is just a smidge ahead of Hurkacz. They could go to 4. You know, it's going to be tough to break serve, I think, in that match. So some deep sets. But Berrettini's put more runs on the board. And, look, you've got to back in Djokovic. It is 6-0 the head-to-head, but the last three matches, Shapovalov's got much closer, 7-6, 7-5, 7-6 in the deciding set. So, you know, Dennis is going to hold his serve more often than not. That's huge for him. It's just, can he make some inroads in the return games? Can he stay the course with Novak in those long rallies where Djokovic is happy to hit ball after ball, those 9+ shot rallies? But if Dennis can unleash some firepower and shorten the points, he'll rattle the cage tonight. Anyway, let's see what happens.
It'll be back in the joke. Yeah, of course, he's next level. And just quickly before we let you go, I think, Australian sports fans were disappointed to a degree, and you're allowed to be disappointed without being overly critical, but disappointed and understand what Ben Simmons did by not going to the Olympics. Nick Kyrgios pulled out and put out a statement explaining his reasons why. It feels like the Kyrgios reasoning and explanation has been widely accepted by most Australian sports fans. Are you reading it that way?
Yeah, and I actually have no issue with what Nick has said. I get it. He didn't want to go on the road this year at all. Really, it was only because Wimbledon said, "Hey, we're going to have 50% crowds." He loves Wimbledon. He wasn't going to come to Wimbledon if there were no crowds, and he'll go to the US now, where they're just opening up the whole country, as we know. So their events leading up to the US Open are going to have crowds, and he loves that. He loves the American crowds, but he's not going to sit in Tokyo in a hotel room where he can't bring the ones he wants with him. He can't go and watch maybe other athletes perform and playing in front of no one. It's not Nick Kyrgios. So I get it. That's okay. And maybe he might get an opportunity in 4 years' time, but maybe it doesn't also mean maybe as much to the tennis players because they sort of play for four big prizes every year as opposed to other sports where it's every 4 years.
Mate, we'll be watching tonight. Good luck to your man. Tennis will be the winner no matter what happens, and we'll hopefully speak to you on Monday to wrap the whole thing up, mate. Look, good luck to Ash tomorrow night, obviously.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Good on you, mate.
Chat.
Brett Phillips for First Serve Tennis Sunscreen at sunbluesunscreens.com.au. Righto, a break, nicknames all the way through to the end. Then we go to the footy. If you want to put a nickname on a modern-day player, have a crack after this.